Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters. The long hot summer continues in northern Europe. This week in southern Sweden, sea breezes have cooled the beating sun. On the horizon, Denmark, these waters the gateway to the Baltic. In days gone by, a poor Danish king built a castle at Helsinge just to the north, the narrowest passing of the ships, and he trained his cannons on the boats and says, "Pay me or I won't let you through." He wasn't a poor king for very long. It's one of the busiest seaways in the world. And this week, all routes to the tiny village of Barsebäck have been full of four-wheel traffic as huge galleries have come to this Volvo Scandinavian Masters. The course, 20 miles to the north of the city of Malmo, close by the beach. We've got 2 courses here, and the Masters mix used for this tournament has 7 holes from the new course and 13 from the old. 3 of those holes running along the beach at Links Golf. It's been stretched to 7,301 yards, attesting par 72, many tight tree-lined fairways. But on day 1, 23,710 golf fans paid to watch. And of course, most wanted a glimpse of British Open champion John Daly, head shaven at 71. Colin Montgomery won the first Scandinavian Masters at Drottningholm in 1991 at 70 for the Scot. And Ian Woosnam has turned to Monty's coach Bill Ferguson for advice. Looks like it's worked at 67. And Barry Lane's form is returning, perhaps just in time for a late run into the Ryder Cup side. Well, let's show you some of the best of yesterday's action briefly. This was Barry Lane at the par 3 8th. He'd just come off a bogey at 7. 175 yards. The perfect response. And a flawless round for Ian Woosnam. No bogeys at all, and this the pick of 5 birdies. Well, Monty has suffered again, mostly with the putter, but he never gives up, and this was one of the best shots of the day, his second to the 17th. World class, and a birdie 3 a formality. Mind you, if it was birdies that you wanted, Ross McFarlane was your man. True, he'd had a couple of bogeys, but this 3 at 18 was his 8th birdie of the day, on his way to a share of the lead with a 66. No Swedes ever won in their home country. Anders Forsbrand came as close as anyone 2 years ago in this tournament. Lost a playoff to Peter Baker. Rather shaky finish. He was in the trees at 16, scrambled a par in the trees at 17, but what a recovery. And Forsbrand tightly placed after a 68. And let's take a look at the morning action. I'm joined in commentary by Mark Rowe. Welcome, Mark. And this is boiling up into a terrific tournament. And Mike McLean, not a name you normally see on the leaderboard, but there he is with the likes of Frank Nobilo. Frank Nobilo, already a winner of the PLM Open in Sweden back in the last decade and playing very well, already a winner this year. And likewise Paul Broadhurst. Paul Broadhurst finishing late with a 66 yesterday and dropping 2 shots overall. Conditions in the morning still pretty good. And Ross McFarlane couldn't maintain the progress. Still a birdie or 2, but rather too many bogeys and worse. Michael Campbell, perhaps the man of the moment, the rookie pro from New Zealand who all but won the Open Championship, led going into the final round and in tough conditions he'd never experienced before, finished a shot behind John Daly and Costatina Rocca. And Jamie Spence came back to form in the Deutsche Bank Open, finished second in what was almost a second tournament. Bernhard Langer won that by a street, but Spence picked up a good check and the Arsenal fan regaining his confidence. And there's Colin Montgomery, a 70 to open with. Looking for his first win of the year. He's having a useful season, but still needs that first victory. Might come this week, 5 under. Let's pick up the action then with Frank Nobilo on the 8th, the par 3. You can just see the crowds that have flocked to Barsebäck once again today. Pin cut on the bottom tier, and that's just a little bit short from Frank Nobilo. Wind at this stage just starting to freshen. It had been fairly calm early on. But you can just see that's down on the beach, and the wind coming in off the sea. Just going to make it testing for the afternoon starters. £650,000 the prize fund, 108,330. Here's Colin Montgomery, just changing clubs. Up or down, do you think, Mark, he's gone?
I would think down, probably to 7 iron. Quite sheltered, this tee, actually. When you stand on the tee, you can't feel the wind, and once it's got sort of 30 yards from the tee, then it's hit by the wind off the right, and actually quite a tricky little par 3 with the flag at the front. It's quite a narrow opening to the green.
2 tee starts, so this is the 17th hole for this 3-ball. They'll be finishing at the 9th. Doesn't like it.
That's a horrible spot there, I would say. Little or no chance of getting up and down in 2 from there. Big hump in the green, a big tier halfway up there.
Well, here's Barry Lane. You can see the wind freshening. He's 7 under though, and on the 17th, 438 yards, no fairway bunkers, but tight trees both sides. Ooh.
Well, absolutely amazing. I moved that little sound wrap yesterday because I said somebody was going to hit it.
Well, if we're being kind, we say it stopped it going into the trees, and it certainly cost him maybe 10 yards in length, but he should be okay, and he's got enough power to not have to worry about what club he needs to get on. And as force round at the 7th. Narrow entrance to this green.
Yeah, this is actually a wickedly sloping green as well. It's camera angle doesn't do it justice there. It's a very, very tricky green indeed.
Forsbrand had problems at 17 and took a double bogey 6. He was out in 37, which is level par for the back 9. Then picked up a birdie at the 4th, and it's been pars all the way apart from that. And this is to get him to 5 under. An opening 68. Probably Sweden's top professional over a number of years. He's the one they all look up to and the example to the rest, but he's got plenty of company on the Volvo Tour now. Swedes everywhere you look.
Yeah, they're very strong indeed. They seem to have a very, very professional attitude, and you know, I think with the arrival of Sanderlin, who's a great character as well, I think it's going to be a great future for Swedish golf.
It's quite a long putt though. The pin cut 21 yards on from the front, cut right side.
And realistically, he's looking at 2-putt in this. He's going to be happy with a 2-putt. Although I played with Jamie Spence this morning, and he holed from a similar spot.
Yeah, I think we may get a glimpse of Jamie a little bit later, some of the best of his round, and certainly Spence making the most of the morning conditions. At this stage, I mean, you were out on the course at this stage, and you could probably sense that the wind was getting up, and you know, if you got a good score in, it could prove to be a tough target.
It was about this point actually in the morning round that you felt that the wind was getting up, and as you come out to the 8th and the 9th, you actually become more exposed.
This was Paul Broadhurst. Under the sand. Winner of the French Open earlier this year. Now Philip Price, winner last year of the Portuguese Open at Peñalonga. That's a feeling you know well, just sliding past the hole.
As I said, tricky green that one, and he's left himself quite a bit of work there as well. Very fast down the hill.
Of course, the third member of this trio, Michael Campbell, most exciting newcomer to the Volvo Tour, started with a bang, made an instant impact in Dubai and Manila, 3rd and 4th places, and I suppose next on the shopping list will be first win in Europe. It was so close to being a major at the same time. So it's just a matter of time, Mark, till this man does win.
Yeah, it can't be far away. He's got everything intact. Very solid striker, wonderful touch. Keeps it simple, very fearless. You know, when he's under pressure, he just keeps going at the flags, which is important. I particularly like his putting stroke. You watch very carefully now how still his head stays when he makes the stroke.
Had a glittering amateur career, played in the Eisenhower Trophy, and it's been successful all the way. Every hurdle overcome. Australasian Rookie of the Year. I think the first tournament as a pro he won it down there.
Yep, another great effort there. I think he thought he'd got it, but this green's fooled an awful lot of people.
Well, Campbell got to the turn in 33, had 3 birdies in a row from 14, 15, 16, and also picked up a shot at 11, and then started on his second 9 pretty well the same way, birdies at 1 and 2, but then dropped his first shots of the day, 2 in a row at 3 and 4, but again a birdie at 5, so 8 under. Forward to 8, and the second shot of Colin Montgomery. And I'd say that pin's on the lower tier, but it's almost close to the top one as well. It's not an easy pin placing.
No, and from where he is now, he's coming across a big hump on the right-hand side of the green as we look on the left-hand side from the tee. And you've got to make a decision whether just to play right and accept maybe 8 or 9 feet for par, or try and be very clever indeed. I had the same shot and I did very much the same thing, and you know, it's kind of hard to imagine that was almost as good as he could do from there.
The problem was, of course, with the tee shot. Here's 17, 438 yards, not an easy hole.
No, it's not an easy hole purely by length, but today it was playing maybe a drive and a 6 or a 7 iron. Very narrow green with the bunker cutting into the left-hand side of the green. You've got some really, really tricky flag positions, as you can see there. That's about 5 yards from the left-hand trap.
Barry Lane, after being halted in his tracks by the microphone, which is now being removed, hopefully gently, is second to 17. And then out to the right.
Yeah, I think he was just hampered a little bit by the tree there and just trying to hit a 6 iron with a little bit of draw on it, and as you can see, just hit it dead straight.
Frank Nobelow second to the 8th up the hill. The liking for this course was one of 6 players who tied for second place behind Nick Fowler when the tournament was first played here back in 1992. Tied 5th last week in Holland when he shared the lead going into the final round, and a 73, just about the most he could take. Was spraying the ball about, and looks to have found a little bit of form, certainly in the first round. A bit more mixed, that double bogey at 13 hitting his chances somewhat. And here's the defending champion, Vijay Singh. He's fighting back well, is Vijay. Monty to save his par at 8. Yep. New putter this week.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed with that. That hole with the wind off the right-hand side today is quite a good wind for him, because he cuts the ball and he would just be aiming at the flag or slightly right of it and just holding it into the wind. He'd be very disappointed to miss the green left.
So you never write him off if he's in with a chance at the weekend. That's the game to 65, 64 around this course. Anyone that can do it around Carnoustie can probably do it around Barsebäck.
Yeah, I think Monty could do it round anywhere. He's one of the most consistent players in the world, and a quality player.
Michael Campbell just taking his time. So close to a birdie at 7, tournament leader. And now Barry Lane. Awkward chip in from the right-hand side.
He got a little bit of green to work with today. He missed it on the right side. Better to miss it there than left. Yeah, he's on a hot streak at the moment. He's swinging well, he's playing well, and he's thinking well.
Now Mike McLean, who made the cut in Hilversum last week, first one for about 5 or 6 weeks. Also came late with the 66 yesterday evening to tie the lead and managing to stay that way. And there's Joachim Hagman, who's had a pretty poor season by the standards that he set in his relatively young career, struggling still. Frank Noveler, who I think fairly recently has adapted the left-hand below right putting style.
Yeah, nicely done. Left below right, obviously used to, people used to think there was a stigma attached to it. People used to think that when you went left below right you had the yips, but that's not the case now. A good percentage of the pros use that as an alternative way of putting.
You tried it yourself?
I've tried all sorts of ways of putting and none seem to work.
Maybe tomorrow. Michael Campbell on the tee.
Yeah, the wind just fooling another player there. It's as you can see from the flagstick, it whips across off the right hand side, and as I said, it's sheltered on the tee and it's a little bit deceptive. You need to set it off further right than you think.
He was saying that the wind he played in at St Andrews on the final day, the toughest he'd ever experienced, so just a breeze today. Now par for Barry Lane at 17, result of an excellent chip. And Lane 7 under, coming off bogeys at 14 and 15. It's first of the day. He was out in 32, 3 birdies to the turn. Now Anders Forsbrand. See all the flags behind the tee, so if you look behind you and you look forward, you know there's wind. It's just stood on that tee sheltered by the trees that you're not so sure.
Of course, he's had the advantage of watching Campbell's ball move in the air, and Anders does play with a little bit of a cut, and probably be a 7-iron for him. Holding it out on the right hand side actually suits his shape, this hole.
Of course, Pig Gallery is with this match, and most of them desperately hoping that they can have a Swedish winner in Sweden. It'll be the first time, and I'm sure it won't be long coming. They're starting to win just about everywhere else. Oh, look at this. This is getting better and better by the second.
Yeah, using the slope behind the flag, a very intelligent play. Beautiful shot.
Of course, the Swedish fans with a chance of watching Per-Ulrik Johansson and Jarmo Sandlin in the afternoon. This was the shot of Forsbrand again, worth taking a second look at. Right over the pin. Now, there's Mark James, Ryder Cup candidate. That was Pierre Fauky you saw, and oh dear.
Jesse there not maybe having such a good day, and There are seemingly sometimes more marshals out there than spectators, and not always right.
Oh dear, always taking his stick away.
Not always easy for them to do the right thing, but they do have a habit of lifting those quiet please signs just as you're about to take the club away.
Even if there's not a spectator within 100 yards, yeah.
You've got 10 marshals and no spectators some days.
Not this week though, big crowds.
I think he maybe aimed at that chap.
Yeah, they're all so keen, the marshal helmets. They're so helpful normally. They're only trying to please, really, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they do a good job. I mean, but it's just a misunderstanding that they always raise those at the wrong time.
This is Barry Lane at 18. Dogleg to the right, and probably a fairway wood, just looking to hit it about 240 into the elbow.
Yeah, 3-wood 265 runs out of the fairway, so he'll just be sliding this one round the corner. Not trying to hit it too hard. Barry's extremely long.
Oh, that's as long as we've seen as well.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. Took the tight line there, and he'll be left with just a pitching wedge.
Well, there are the Ryder Cup standings at the moment. We've got the US PGA next week, the Austrian Open, the Czech Open, then the Volvo German Open, and those top 10 places will be automatically in the side. Top 5 in Europe down to Colin Montgomery. They're already gone, but Per Ulrik Johansson looking for a good week. Likewise, Mark James, who's right on the edge of making the cut, 2 over. The wind will have to get up this afternoon if he's to make it. Philip Walton looking for points, and just out of that table, the likes of Darren Clark and Barry Lane. Of course, if Barry Lane could win this week, then I think he'd be very, very close to the side. And then 2 picks for Bernard Gallagher. He will be hoping that Ian Woosnam gets into that top 10, gives him a little bit more freedom with those 2 selections. Thoughts on the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, looking very strong. I'm liking the look of the team. Going to be a couple of new faces in there, but you know, tremendous strength at the top there. Sam having a wonderful year. Langer's brilliant as ever. Seve you need in the Ryder Cup. As you say, the pick's the problem. He's going to have to pick Nick Faldo. That's, for my mind, a certainty. And then only 1 pick left. And there's some very, very fine players just on the fringes of the team there. You know, guys like Howard Clark and Barry Lane with Ryder Cup experience already. As you say, if he doesn't make the team, he's got to be a consideration. And of course, Woosie right there. Hopefully Woosie plays his way in, and then that gives Bernard the freedom.
Here at Barsebäck, second round, the Volvo Scandinavian Masters, though it's Michael Campbell of New Zealand, no Ryder Cup worries for him. He leads by 1 from Barry Lane, and the Englishman separating the 2 Kiwis, Frank Novelo and Mike McLean, tied third at 6 under. You're watching the Volvo Scandinavian Masters on Eurosport. Second shot for tournament leader Michael Campbell at the par 3 8th. Fall by the wind. Anders Forsbrand very close indeed, having learned the lessons.
Much easier shot this one than we saw Monty just have. He's missed the green below the flag, so he's chipping up the hill. Now that's a bit clumsy actually. I don't think he's going to be very pleased with that. Wasn't a tricky shot. Managed to smile. I don't think I'd have been smiling after that one, but he is 8 under and I'm only 1 under, so.
And he's still working hard to hold it together over these closing 2 holes. You can see Vijay Singh waiting up on the tee with Greg Turner and Roger Chapman. Pace of play this morning didn't seem too slow, was it?
No, it's actually brilliant this morning, you know, as compared to some weeks when it seems to be incredibly slow first 2 days. I mean, the Open Championship was just an embarrassment at St Andrews how slow it was, and no, pace of play was great today.
I mean, that wasn't really just because, or even because of the players, it's in a way the layout that you have to wait away with shot in the wind and double greens.
Yeah, I mean, all sorts of problems, but still, you know, it was taking 5 hours, 20 minutes to play, and I mean, some guys were finishing at 9:45 at night. I think that that can't be in a major championship, needs reviewing.
Philip Price just timid on that one. And there's Mark James with his second to 18. I say Ryder Cup points. I think he's going to make the team because he's played well all year.
Yeah, I can't see that Jesse would miss the team, and he's fighting hard here. I think he needs a birdie probably to make sure of making the cut.
Well, he's given himself the chance. That pin cut 16 yards on. But if you're coming in from the left-hand side, quite tight over that bunker. Well, we could have a swing in a moment. Michael Campbell to save his par, and Barry Lane, huge drive at 18. Just a pitching wedge, he would hope to get close enough to set up a closing birdie.
Up the hill, just outside the right edge, nice and firm. Keep the head still, as he always does. Just watch this stroke. Beautiful how his head stays still. Very, very cool customer indeed, Michael Campbell, isn't he?
He's going to be a more than able replacement for Ernie Els on the Volvo Tour, and news that maybe Ernie will be coming back a time or two next year for sure.
That would be lovely.
Very Lane, second into 18. Huge drive.
Looked like a pitching wedge. Tidy shot. Took the brave line from the tee and made the hole a lot shorter, and set up a nice birdie chance.
That will be for a share of the lead now. Here's Colin Montgomery at his final hole, the 9th. That's it, into wind. It used to be, well, it is a par 5 for the members. And brought the tee forward, made it into quite a testing par 4 for the pros.
Into and off the left. Oh, that's a beautiful shot there, because that was a 3-iron he was hitting second shot. And that's the measure of the man. He bogeys the 8th, and then he comes straight back with a wonderful shot with a 3-iron and perhaps a birdie to finish.
I've said it before, I think the only thing he's guilty of on a golf course is just trying 110%. Sometimes he doesn't look happy, but, you know, so he's just trying his hardest out there.
It's his personality. He's striving perfection, and you know, that's why he's won the Order of Merit the last 2 years.
Absolutely. Now Frank Noblo with these new Mizuno clubs, new shafts in them, recommended by Greg Norman.
Well, I suppose if Greg tells you something, you're supposed to listen. Certainly helped his game. He's playing beautifully at the moment.
A little bit unlucky not to bite there.
Certainly 3 lovely shots. I would say that was one of the tougher holes today, and oh, very nice.
Now, is it a left-handed or right-handed shot? We'll find out in a moment. And it's Mike McLean there, and it's actually not left, it's not right, it's actually right in the middle of the backswing, isn't it?
Yes, that's not a nice spot. It looks like he's just sort of caught up in the tree and dropped directly down at the side of the green. He's probably not an awful long way from the hole, with absolutely no shot looking at that.
Forsbrand after that superb tee shot at 8.
Beautifully done, with perhaps one of the ugliest putters I've ever seen there. Not sure what that one is. It looks like something out of Star Wars.
It's got him a birdie too, and it's got the Swede to 6 under. Now, Pierre Folke just getting out of the way. He's a Swede who probably won't be here for the weekend. +4, no way that's going to be good enough. Now Mark James, I'm sure we'll know that he needs this one. He's going to wait for Barry Lane. Barry Lane just furthest away. And Lane has this for a second successive 68, and to clinch a share of the lead. He's already guaranteed $300,000 at the end of the year, and hasn't got his regular caddy with him. Gary overslept, and Turnberry George came out of the caddy shack, the burger bar, to take the bag. And I think Gary, a bit of a worried young man at the moment.
I think he will be if he holds this. Very confident looking stroke and joint leader.
7 birdies in the round. 6 birdies in the round and 2 bogeys, a 68, couple of 68s, but it's good form from Barry Lane.
Yeah, excellent play.
Out on the 9th. Frank Robelo. This is for par, so the shot we saw into the green must have been his 3rd. Must have found problems off the tee.
Must have caught one of the fairway traps and had a bad lie, I think, and disappointing finish for Frank.
It's going to be a round of 73. Problems at the 13th double bogey, and then fighting back, but not the way you want to finish. Still one in touch at 5 under. There's the man that you played with this morning, Mark. We're having a look back at the morning action with Jamie Spence at 17, 6 under, and you can see in a tie for 3rd place with Forsbrand and McLean.
Nice second shot under the hole, leaving putt straight up the hill. And putting beautifully all day. Oh my goodness.
So 7 under, yeah.
I was just about to have a bet with you on that one, Steve, but
He had a feeling he had inside information. There was Mark James. You can see he had a rush at that birdie attempt, knew that it had to go in, so he gave it an opportunity. Now he's got a sweat. This afternoon the wind has to get up an awful lot for +2 to be good enough to give him a chance at 2 more rounds at the weekend.
yes, he's on that horrible mark that we all hate to be on, looking like the cut, not sure, have to wait around all day, misses by 1 and then have to miss the flight as well.
Mind you, in the Tenty Village they have got the Irish Tourist Board. We've got a Dublin pub there, band playing. It's not a bad place to wait. It's 1 or 2 are there rather than in the scoreboard. No, this is well, Mark McLean's actually used his imagination and he's played that pretty well.
Wasn't a bad effort, a great danger there, obviously hitting so steeply down, I think, and the ball in a bad lie that he could actually double hit it. So he's done quite well there, but he's got a horrible left to right putt left.
Colin Montgomery to finish with a birdie. This is for a round of 69. He's got it, and he's there at 5 under, and he comes off a pretty indifferent bogey at 8 and just gets a birdie like that. That's why you can never rule him out.
No, I think he's going to be there at the weekend.
Barry Lane shares the lead with Michael Campbell. Jamie Spence with 1 hole to play is just 1 behind. Anders Forsbrand leads the Swedish Challenge. Watching the 2nd round of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters on Eurosport.
Are we on a break?
Yeah.
So we obviously didn't want to see novice putt then.
You're right.
Oh yeah, fine.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not actually that bad in here, is it, with the fan? It's alright.
Yeah.
Can you keep the mic really close to your mouth and away from the computer screen? We have a little bit of breakthrough and we're not sure what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's alright. Nice intro, wasn't it? We did that very well actually, it's very nice.
They put it together nicely, don't they?
I think they do it very well, you know. I mean, do you know already what you're doing next year? How many they're going to be doing?
I think probably about the same number, and if this works well, I think they're going to send me to site a lot more.
I hope so. Much better for you.
Yeah, and better for golf.
Yeah, and you can get a couple of guys in, and it takes the pressure off you a bit. And, you know.
Well, you can add so much. I wouldn't have had the Gary story, would I?
No, that's right.
I'll go back in there this time. the men leading the way, Michael Campbell and Barry Lane. This is Mike McLean, though, one of the 4 first-round leaders. On the 7th hole, his 16th in the second round of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters, and after an awkward lie for his 3rd, this is to save his par. Birdied the first 2 holes, double bogeyed the 3rd, dropped the shot at 5, and that's a super 4.
Yes, up and down out of a ball washer, Mr. McLean.
And they can afford a smile.
And that was a great save.
Now Jamie Spence at 18.
3 wood. Keep it in the fairway. Driver just has a tendency to run out of room today. The wind behind and off the right. Perfectly judged.
And as Forsbrand gone way to the right off the tee, but with it being so dry for the last 4 weeks, he's not lined too badly.
No, nothing unusual to see Anders a little bit off the fairway, and he's used to it. No problems for him, I'm sure. That's a lovely shot. Bit blind from there. You have to see the trees on the left there just as we closed in on that ball. He wouldn't have seen the flag, so that was a good shot.
Well, here is 9. I say it used to be a par 5, well, it is for the members, and for you boys, it's a 4. The bunker's on the right, the key.
Yeah, once you've carried the traps and you've got it in the fairway, it's today it's playing a 3 or a 4 iron because it's into the breeze, but obviously if the wind isn't there, it can play 6 or a 7 iron. That trap there is just in play for the tee shot, and then if they put the flag on the right side, it can be blind because of those 2 big trees there. It's a green built to be a par 5 hole and not a par 4, so I'm not too sure about putting the tees forward. They have a habit of doing that nowadays, just putting them maybe 1 yard forward and calling it a par 4 instead of a par 5. Nothing wrong with short par 5s, I like them.
I wonder why. And we have 1 ball in the bunker away on the left-hand side. And the pin today, 22 yards on from the front, fairly central, but it's a narrow target coming in because the green runs across you as you come in from the fairway.
Probably actually helped a little bit today, as you see from the flag, the wind blowing off the left, and that does make it easier just to slide it in from the left bunker and use the wind.
And that's Paul Broadhurst, who's giving obvious signs that he has found his form again. He's 2 over for the day. This is for a birdie. This to be just 1 over for the day. There's Ronan Rafferty, who at the 9th yesterday holed a 4 iron for an eagle too.
Slight misread from Brody.
It's going well, but bogeyed 3 and 5. So far just a couple of birdies at the first hole, which was his 10th, and at 14. And the ball in the bunker belonged to Michael Campbell at 9.
Plenty of green to work with, just on the upslope. Should see him just sort of flick this out and let it run to the hole. Bread and butter stuff, really, for the tour pros. Very nicely done. Left himself with a putt straight up the hill, and he'll be pleased with that. It was a good shot.
I was saying last week Sam Torrance had a bunker shot by 18 to force a playoff. I mean, I wonder what the odds were. How often you'd expect to hole a greenside bunker shot?
Obviously, depending on the distance and the shot and the break of the green, but it's the one area where the tour pros are so sharp nowadays.
This is Jamie Spence's 2nd into 18, 1 shot off the pace.
An 8 iron. Playing well, should be going straight at the flag. Quite beautifully done.
Take a look at the swing.
Yeah, swinging very nicely now. Obviously, I can comment. I played with him the first 2 days, and his rhythm's much better. Tends sometimes to get the ball going a little bit left, but as you can see here, stays nicely behind the ball. Good full turn to the top. Starting down with the left side, and Nice clean contact. Just moving the ball in very slightly left to right. Swinging much better, Jamie Spence.
Is that sort of partly confidence and a little bit of coaching? There's never much wrong with the swing, is there, in general?
No, I don't think there's been a great deal wrong with his game. As I say, he got a little bout of the snap hooks and maybe a slight loss of interest, but he's been working psychologically with a friend of his, and he's had a few good finishes. And confidence is the key. It's the most amazing commodity. You can't buy it, you can't bottle it, but once you've got it, it makes a hell of a difference to your game.
Yeah, witness Stephen Bottomley in yesterday's first round after his performance in the Open Championship.
Yes, that certainly was a turn up, and it was a wonderful week for him, and I think you might see that as a springboard to success for Stephen. Every player needs that belief, and you finished third in the British Open. As I said to him afterwards, it's like winning a tournament, and you do that, you're good enough to win a tournament.
A bit of confidence coming back for Mark McLean, although having escaped with a par at 7, he's got to get out of jail again. This, we're told, is for par at the 8th.
Yeah, he's putting this. He'd be the first to admit that chipping's always been a bit of a weakness. In fact, that was one of his problems in previous years, and I think now he's got his chipping under control, and he's obviously playing quite nicely this week.
In fact, that was for birdie, and he's every chance of getting his par. Now Michael Campbell for the joint lead for a round of 67 to go with his opening 69.
Ooh, left tradesman's entrance on the left side, but they all count.
See the 2 bogeys and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birdies, and Michael Campbell has to be a contender this weekend. I think he's ready to win.
He's a contender every week at the moment.
Paul Broadhurst.
There's another man who doesn't struggle too much with the blade. He's a lovely putter when he gets going. Enjoying another good week.
Forsbrand then to finish with the birdie, and this will be for a round of 69.
That was a wonderful putt. Beautiful pace. He's a great judger of pace on the greens, and that was a lovely example there, right to the hole side. Another good round.
You're on about the putter. It's a bit ugly, but it works, and the only ugly thing on the card really was a double bogey at 17. Jamie Spence with a putt which would have made it a 3-way tie at the top.
I think it just fooled him there. He just misread that. The stroke looked good. Just expecting that to come a little bit from the left, and it stayed straight. Still a great round. 2 very solid days golf.
And just the 1 bogey at the 9th, 5 birdies, and meanwhile Mark Rowe was at the back of the green signing autographs and giving away golf balls and gloves and what have you. Now Mark McLean, this indeed was for his par at the 8th hole.
Very good. Of course, he needs a good week. He's not at the top of the order of merit by any stretch of the imagination, and this will give him a lot of confidence. He's a good player. He's won tournaments, and I think he suffers with his confidence a lot. And a good week here, do him the world of good.
So the morning round, or the morning section of the second round, progressing. Michael Campbell and Barry Lane leading in the clubhouse, 1 clear of Jamie Spence, Anders Forsbrand just 2 behind, raising Swedish hopes of a first Swedish victory in their homeland. Mike McLean won the play at 6 under. Colin Montgomery and Frank Nobler, they can't be ruled out in Woosnam. Robert Allaby and Miguel Angel Jimenez to play in the afternoon. Plenty of action still to come from Barsebäck on Eurosport. Welcome back. There's Jesper Parnevik, who was one off the lead yesterday with the 67. We've seen the best of the morning action. We're going to join the big names in the afternoon. I can tell you that the wind has got up quite considerably. Pretty breezy now. There's been the odd quite heavy shower as well. I'm joined in commentary by Mark Rowe, who played this morning, played with Jamie Spence, who's one shot off the lead, which was set by Michael Campbell and Barry Lane, and finished 1 under. Could have been better, but it's looking better now with these afternoon conditions. Yes,
I think for once had a good end of the draw, and that always helps. Obviously the wind has picked up now and it's much trickier than it was this morning.
Well, there's Jesper Parnevik, who's picking up ground. He's 3 under for the day. Ian Woosnam also going well. Woosnam 2 under after 12 holes so far today. So those 2 players making the most progress in the afternoon. Robert Allenby also hanging on well. He's picked up 1 shot today, but those morning scores posted are setting the challenge. Look pretty good to me. And here he is, Long John Baldy.
Well, where is he going with that haircut? I really struggle with that one, but he is the Open champion, and I think there'll be a few of the old R&A officials turning in the graves at that haircut, seeing the Open champion with a shiny top.
Well, it's his 3rd week in Europe, and he did well to make the cut in Hilversum last week, but he's right on the mark at the moment, 2 over. He needs a good finish to keep the crowds entertained on Saturday, Sunday. 16th though, par 5. Driving a flick for Daly?
Tailor-made for Big John. I guess he's going to slaughter it out there about 320 and probably try and reach it with an iron, but the wind's picked up now and it's blowing into and off the right, so even for him now this is 2 good hits. Straight away par 5, tree line but not too tight. Even I made the front in 2 today, so it's a possible birdie chance, and as you say, I think he needs one. Bit of boot polish, it could be George Foreman, couldn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't need the sun factor 25 on. There's the car, and it started so well with the birdie, but then out in 37 and dropping shots at 10, and even the par 5 12th, he must have been a little bit offline.
Yeah, you would say that it's a tight course, and you know, with a bit of wind blowing, that was the one big advantage he had at St Andrews. You can spray the ball around. That's not to take anything away from the way he played. He played beautifully, but here we go. Oh, dear me, it makes me cringe.
It's a new driver, the Invex, new Wilson driver, going to be in your pro shops around Europe in about a month, 2 months' time, and that's a beauty. And credit to him, he's fighting back since those 2 bogeys. He's had a birdie as well. He's not giving it up. If he can be here for the weekend, he's going to be.
And I think that's a side of John Daly we might not have seen 2 years ago, and I think that's a credit to him.
Yep. Now, Darren Clark, a Ryder Cup contender, is not going to get any points at all this week. Way out of it.
Not too many days where Darren is outdriven by 30 or 40 yards, but I'm afraid with Sunderland and Daly in the group, he's feeling like Mark Rowe does on a normal day.
Well, there he is. I mean, he's hit a good one, and the camera foreshortens. He probably is 30, 40 yards behind. Now, the man with the 55-inch driver, Jarmo Sandlin, level par. So he's come out top in this draw. It's an element of shootout, I'm sure about it, against John Daly. Both gone for the driver. He wanted to knock this one past. He won't hold back. Never does.
Entertaining the crowds as always. He's a great character, this young man. I like his way of playing. He doesn't back off. I think he's maybe missed that one a little bit by his standards, but he's a great entertainer, and I think he's a breath of fresh air to the European Tour.
Absolutely. Would you recommend this swing though for?
I wouldn't recommend this swing or this driver to anybody else. It's more like a trick shot driver. It's very, very long, but he uses it well and generates tremendous power. I mean, you can see how much power he generates there. My goodness me, look at that. You have to be very fit and very supple to have a follow through like that, let me tell you.
Now, if you're playing at Turnberry, you probably need a parachute on a couple of tees, don't you? Well, here's Jesper Parnevik at 14. joint leader now. A lot of support for his claims for a Ryder Cup pick. Of course, plays on the American Tour at the moment, but he feels that he has to win this week if he's to make the side. This is the way that 14 has played so far. 33 birdies and just over its stroke average. Wind off the left-hand side and certainly not helping. Again, no fairway bunkers. It's a feature of these closing holes. Ian Woosnam 2 under for the day. Ooh, he started that up the left.
It looks like it's going left unless it's cutting. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is tricky in there. Left side of the fairway, you can just about get past that big tree that you see just beyond the Volvo sign, but where Woosier's little shot.
Three-way tie at the top. Michael Campbell, Barry Lane, feet up in the clubhouse or maybe on the range. Jesper Parnevik going well out on the course. Jamie Spence in the clubhouse. Ian Woosnam in trouble off the tee at 14. Now, talking of Ryder Cup candidates, here's Miguel Angel Jimenez, who defended last week in Hilversum. 3 under, 2 over for the day.
As always, bang in the centre of the fairway, drives the ball beautifully. One of the most improved players in the last couple of years. Wonderful iron shot. He's a great putter, he's got a great short game. He really doesn't do a lot wrong.
He opened with a birdie, then had a hat-trick of bogeys, 6, 7 and 8. Since then, 5 pars. So there, another look at the Ryder Cup standings, and now we know that Mark James is sweating on the mark if he's going to add to points. Ian Woosnam probably needs to win this week, and Miguel Jimenez as well would like a big check. First, second or third place would help. Darren Clark, he's going to miss the cut. Barry Lane well placed. Nick Faldo somewhere else. And Pierre Folke is going to miss the cut. Paul Broadhurst, again, he's kind of ruled out his chances. What chance Jarmo Sanderlin? Well, he wouldn't be scared of the Americans.
No, he would be an entertaining Ryder Cup player, and he would certainly thrive on the atmosphere of a Ryder Cup. Maybe a year or two early for him, but who's to say in the future? I think the sky's the limit for him.
Absolutely. Let's go back to the action. And here we are with Jarmo Sanderlin on 16. Second shot.
Well, I'm not sure. Is that the big stick he's got out there off the deck? No, I don't think it is actually. That's too short a shaft. So he's going with his 3 wood.
It has to be within range for him. It's in yards, it's 547 yards. But as you say, it's into it. Well, he's waiting. There are people on the green, so he's for sure he's going for it. And that win at Maspalomas early in the season, where Severiano Ballesteros was almost mugged by the Swede. Let's take a look at Jesper Parnevik's second, though.
What a wonderful crisp action and a crisp strike every time. I like the way he plays. He's gone to the States, and the one thing with him, he was always aggressive, and didn't know how to back off. So, and he's carrying on with that form.
Ian Woosnam's got to hit some kind of magic hook out of here.
Be a little hook. See him turning the hands over and trying to shape it round the tree. Oh, that's a fabulous shot. I would say he probably had to hook that maybe 20 or 30 yards, and he did it beautifully.
And the weight over for Sanderlin. He can get on with his second shot. Well, that seemed to be a bit of a wild one. Now on the 8th hole. Remember, 2 tee starts throughout the day for rounds 1 and 2. 65 and times will then go through, and they'll all start the weekend on the first for Mike Carr with 2 holes to play. 2 under for the day, 5 under for the tournament. He's gone down the same place as Colin Montgomery went in the morning.
Yep, and I think again a little bit too far and coming across the hump, and he's going to have a very tricky chip there.
Ian Woosnam, beautiful shot out of the trees and out of trouble. Can he cash in with a birdie at 14? This is for a share of the lead.
Go on, baby.
At the moment, we're just looking at the cut. Looks like it's going to be 1 over. As conditions get a lot calmer pretty quickly.
Good 4 from where he was. Bit of an escape, bit of a Harry Houdini out of the trees there, and no damage to the scorecard.
So there he is, still 1 off the pace. Not a bad place to be going into the weekend. And of course 16 to come, obvious birdie opportunity. Gabriel Utstedt on the 8th, who's had a torrid time this year, but this week's a little bit better. 2 under at the moment.
Yeah, nice to see, as you say. Had a really bad run. He could have stolen the French Open from under my nose a couple of years ago, and after that went into decline for a while, but nice to see him back and playing much better. Maybe he's motivated by playing in front of his home crowd. A lovely shot there as well.
Uphill putt chance to go to 3 under. Should make the cut. John Daly now with the iron, second shot to 16, the par 5.
Yeah, that's scary long. If he makes the green with this, that really is scary long. Looks like he's... oh no, John. Left it out right.
But he's got a good short game as well. Nice touch and show a temper there. He's trying.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do to repair the fairway there as well, so...
Send the bill. Him and his beautiful shot at 14 this to cash in for the birdie to go to 4 under.
Oh, I must admit that always looked a little bit left and tried to get back in, but that wasn't his usual positive stroke.
Jesper Parnevik for the lead. Doesn't want it, still 8 under. So still a 3-way tie at the top. You've got Barry Lane and Michael Campbell in the clubhouse, but Jesper Parnevik perhaps a chance to give Sweden the lead that everybody wants. We'll be back with more golf from Barsebäck after the break. Ian Woosnam, second shot to the par 3 15th, 191 yards. And he really does look to be swinging a lot more solidly. Second on the team, Miguel Angel Jimenez, after not making the birdie and still 5 off the pace.
Playing a 4 or 5 iron today. Wind into and off the right. Normally moves the ball right to left, so should be suiting his shape. Aim down the right side, turn it over. Likes the look of it. And why not?
He hasn't played that much this year. He's played a little bit in America as well, and obviously not going to sort of do his brains in about making the Ryder. If it happens, it happens. The Ryder Cup, and probably playing because he's a little bit fresher, probably playing a little bit better.
Always helps. Never hurts to have time away from the game. You can become stale playing week in, week out.
There we are. Par for Gabriel Istet. He's going to make the cut. He's got 3 shots in hand with 1 hole to play. Now sandal him for par at 16.
Yes, confidently hold. I'm a little bit disappointed if that was a par from his tee shot, but
well, we're informed it is, so
that's a caption we're seeing.
Now Parnevik joint tournament leader. He does hit those irons hard and crisp.
I think he lost that right. He didn't like that at all. You can see as soon as he hit it, he came up a little bit quickly and short right and probably plugged.
Mike Harwood to save his par at the 8th.
That was a pretty good chip actually from where he was. He didn't have a lot of chip, and if he makes this will be a superb up and down.
He scrambled. Paul Eales was in the commentary box yesterday, said Michael got it round in 69. He made 1 or 2 fantastic saves. So he would have been expecting to make that one, but a shot goes.
Yeah, I think that's his game, but don't forget that he's a class player. He's won the PGA Championship, the Volvo Masters, the European Open. He won a lot of tournaments on a lot of tough golf courses, and you know, he's very, very hard man when he's in contention. Very gutsy and very tough.
And he's just 4 away from the 3-way tie for the top 2 in the clubhouse, Lane and Campbell, and out on the course, Jesper Parnevik.
As you can see there, the ball didn't plug in the face, it ran back. Still a tricky shot though. There's a tear in this green. You actually can see it now on that camera angle. It's just short of the hole, so he's got to try and pitch this one all the way up to the flag if he can, otherwise it might just check and spin down. Opening the blade, going to send it all the way to the hole. Pretty good.
Parnevik was tied 3rd in this tournament last year, just a couple of weeks after his disappointment at Turnberry, when he came 2nd in the Open Championship to Nick Price. Ian Woosnam, who's still suffering from a little bit of back trouble. Like so many players, the key to his game is the putting. If he suddenly gets a stroke that seems to suit him on the putting surface and starts knocking them in.
Thing is with Woods, he's quite the most brilliant striker when he's playing well, and obviously brilliant strikers are going to set up a lot of chances, which means that you're going to miss a few, and I think his confidence goes. That really wasn't a good stroke. It was up the hill. You could see the blade closed as he came into the stroke, and he pulled it left. It was a very, very weak putt, and that's really his weakness at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the tee shot was such a quality that, I mean, it should at least have been up or just past the hole.
I'm actually surprised. I mean, I've seen him hit a lot of poor putts recently, that he doesn't maybe try left below right or something, just for a different feel, just for a bit of a change. And you know, he's such a great player that you know, when he putts well, he's going to win.
He's been trying the long handle putter on the practice green as well now and again. Second real birdie chance in 2 holes for Miguel Jimenez, and he's got to start making these as well.
Tricky putt actually. This has got quite a break from the left. You're going to set this off outside the hole, and if he doesn't hit it, it'll leak away to the right. You might think I'd already seen that, but
No,
I promise you I hadn't.
Absolutely well called, yeah. Because the strike was quite good.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think it fooled me from the other side. I was a similar distance right of the hole, and a bit of a puzzled look.
Yeah, he's had 2 chances to get back to level for the day. Parnevik to save his par. Story Jesper's round so far very tidy, a little bit quiet to start, 7 straight pars, then the 8th hole, birdie 2, out in 34, 1 under, and he managed to make birdies at 12 and 13. So he's yet to make a bogey today, and that's not the kiss of death.
He's left himself in a good spot. He's putting up the hill, inside right, firm. Wait for the cheer.
Oh.
Bit of a loop-the-loop.
5,000 Swedes all suck their breath in at the same time to help that get down into the middle of the hole. So he remains in a share of the lead with 3 holes to play. So it's Michael Campbell and Barry Lane who set the morning pace. Jesper Parnevik's chasing after them. Ian Woosnam maybe struggling with the putter, but still only 1 shot away, and Robert Allenby picking up a couple of shots. 3-way tie at the top though. It's Barry Lane, Michael Campbell and Sweden's Jesper Parnevik. Few clouds in the sky, and we haven't seen those in Northern Europe for a week or two, and a little bit of breeze as well. This Barsebäck course hard by the strait between Sweden and Denmark. For the first time for several weeks, 1 or 2 clouds in the sky over Northern Europe, certainly in this part of Sweden. Welcome back to Barsebäck for the 2nd round of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters. And here's a man who's not having a happy day, Darren Clark, 2nd shot at 17. He's got to finish birdie, and even that probably not good enough to make the cut.
No, currently 64 players par or better, so with the course playing a little bit tougher this afternoon, we're looking at 1 over, so I think Darren's going to be on his way home.
So if he wants to make it to the European Ryder Cup side, he's got to do well in Austria, Czechoslovakia or in Germany. Miguel Jimenez at the 16th.
The tee up quickly, usually a good sign. Let's say he doesn't miss many fairways with that big Bertha driver of his.
Beautiful tees here at Barsebäck as well. That one's about 100 metres long and various levels, and all looks in immaculate condition. So the juniors, ladies, men, and then the pros right at the back. You've got a nice long walk to even get off the tee. Here's Mike Harwood on the other half of the course, having dropped the shot at 8. Second into 9. I watched him play this hole and get a 4 without touching the fairway yesterday.
Yeah, left side of the fairway, always the danger just off the edge there, the flyer. Got a bit of grass between the club face and the ball, but that's not flown, in fact a little bit short.
And yesterday he was on the right hand side and then came across to the left almost into the hay and managed to come across that bunker and hole a putt for par. Was a pretty good save. You can see there are the 3 bunkers on the right. They're the ones that you've got to worry about. They're the ones you've got to carry instead.
Been struggling with his swing for a while. You see he's uncomfortable through the ball. He seems to lose his height during the swing, and then see he's hit that a little bit heavy, and that's not a bad spot. You can putt from there, and you know, when you've missed a lot of cuts on the trot, you get very nervous at this stage in the game.
It's his 3rd shot for John Daly. And 17.
Lovely touch. Very, very free-flowing putting and chipping action that he's got, and a very, very gifted man indeed on the golf course.
I think it's good news for golf.
I think he's entertaining for the crowds, and you know, it's going to be interesting over the next few years to see how he handles the you know, the recent win in the Open Championship, and see if he can maintain his way.
Well, he got his birdie at 16, so well, he may just be good enough maybe here. But certainly a birdie at the last would clinch it.
Yeah, for sure. I think even a par, and he'll be here at the weekend, which is good for the sponsors, good for the crowds. He's always got the biggest gallery.
Well, we go back to 16. And, a player very popular with the galleries, Ian Woosnam. I know he's got a few fans from Simon's Golf Club over in Denmark. They've come across today to cheer Woosie on. He was at the Danish Open, the Challenge Tour event recently. Not playing, but giving a clinic and taking part in the skins game.
Yep, very tight. He hit the driver off the deck there, trying to keep it low. Chased it up nearly onto the front edge. Now he's got about 30 yards left still, and he'll probably be able to putt that one up there quite close.
So if he gets down in 2, it's a 4-way tie at the top. Although Jesper Parnevik may have something to say about that if he gets a birdie as well. He'll be leading on his own. It's Parnevik now to play at 16.
Interestingly there, Jimenez the last to play. Not too often you would think you'd see Jimenez knocking it past Woosie and Parnevik, but
well, Woosie says he's got a new shaft in his driver that's giving him another 30 yards.
perhaps a good job. Otherwise he wouldn't have been anywhere near the green in 2.
Body language says it's gone right.
Yep,
Yeah.
left it right again. Lying nicely. Shouldn't present too many problems for him. Oh, this looks like the large-headed driver again off the deck, and I have to tell you,
you
these
can
are,
name it.
these are not very easy at all to hit off the ground, so I'm interested to see this one. Well, that looks right, going right. Oh, a little shot to the groin there, and
That was my hard hat fade. You don't get that in the monthly medal. If you've got 25,000 fans here, you didn't get that. That's Gabriel Hidstedt with his 3rd shot of the 9th.
One very big advantage of having the larger galleries following you is that you can sometimes spray them around and get a nice little kick back on the fairway. Although I have to say, from my own personal experience, always shout for please.
Harwood third shot.
Oh, wonderful. Very much a master of the short game, as you mentioned earlier, and you know, that was beautifully done.
Well, here comes Ian Woosnam. He's not in the top 100 of the Volvo order of merit at the moment. That was partially a reflection of how often he's played, but also he hasn't really found any form this year so far. And there were signs at Hilversum last week that maybe it wasn't too far away, but it needs a good week.
Everybody needs that confidence, as I said, and it's not very often you're ever going to see Woosie down that end of the order of merit, but as you say, a reflection of the fact that he's played very little golf this year. Not had the best of health, as you say. He's had some back problems, and very, very nice to see him playing well again, and I think he should stick with Bill Ferguson for a while. It's obviously helped him.
Robert Allenby also going pretty well out on the course, though he's just dropped a shot at the 6, having started at the 10th. His first shot of the second 9 that he's dropped. So Roger Davis not having such a bad week either. Also a former winner of the Volvo PGA down at Valderrama. Thomas Levey, who had a 69, which included a 2-shot penalty for an illegal drop. Roger Chapman at 2 under with Carl Mason, Neyman Darcy. And if he makes this with Gabriel Yutstedt. Well done.
Nicely done, nice finish. Always makes it a little bit more pleasant the rest of the day if you hold a nice little 6-footer at the last. And a much better performance from Yutstedt.
Well, Paul Hills, the third member of the trio, was 4 under at one stage, and we're just to find out what his final score was. I think he slipped back over these holes. Mark Rowe, my man on the computer, is going to press the right buttons, and we'll come up with the answer. There he is. 2 under, he's finished. Just waiting for him to hold out at 18, but he was 2 under going to the 9th, his 18th. Him and his driver off the fairway didn't really work. He's quite a long way. He was longest off the tee with the driver, now quite a bit shorter.
Doesn't look like a good lie. Tough shot. Obviously very tricky to get any spin on the ball out of a sort of heavy lie like that, but it's got to just go over the corner of the trap as well. This is not an easy shot. And also perhaps the overhanging branches looking at the trajectory, but
Marvellous effort.
Made that look very easy.
There's Mike Harwood holding out, sand save, and that's a 71 to go with yesterday's 69, 4 under. And pretty steady stuff from Harwood. I'll tell you, Paul Eales did make his pass, so Paul Eales safely making the cut, 2 under. Third shot. Well, he's not going with the putter, he's going to chip this.
Yeah, probably feels a bit too much green between him and the flag. Little pitch and run shot with an 8 iron. Breaks this way from the left hand side as he's looking.
Come on, come on.
Nicely judged.
It was 33 yards, 33 paces on from the front of the green to the pin, so it was probably the best part of 40 yards that he had there. Parnevik.
Corner of the trap to go over, but plenty of green as you can see between the flag and the corner of the trap. Nice clean lie. Probably the lobbing wedge. Disappointed if it doesn't get this within a couple of feet. Nicely done. 4 feet. Maybe a bit ambitious there, but to take the lead.
I think he's from his time in America, he's a tougher character. He's probably better able to to handle the crowds, because it's going to be, if he's in the league going into the weekend, there's going to be pressure on him, the weight of expectancy, really.
I think he had the great experience of the Open Championship, and there can be no greater pressure than that. But as you say, he's tougher now for his time in the States, and he still plays exactly the same way, which is attack, and attack more. And obviously people that play that way are going to make the fair share of mistakes, but when they're hot, they're very hot, and they're going to win tournaments.
Ian Woosnam has a chance to make it a four-way tie at the top. The putt just before Parnevik, so it may be a very temporary stay at the top for Woosnam.
Inside left and firm. Maybe left edge if he's going to dribble it. And these are the putts that Woosie seems to dread at the moment. And when you're not 100% confident, this is the length that really, really scares you.
I'd be surprised if he was firm at it. You need the confidence to be firm.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the stroke. Watch the blade as it comes through. See again the blade closing on the way through there, and he's going to look at that and maybe try and convince us he misread it, but I think he pulled that a little bit as well. Such a shame, and I played the hole beautifully and walks off with a 5, and Jimenez, who hit the big slice into the gallery, is probably going to walk off with a 4. What a cruel game.
I mean, there was a time not so many years ago when he thought twice about that, just knock it in the holes, shelling peas. I mean,
it's a measure of his greatness, though. I mean, you can see, we've just seen he's struggling on the greens a little bit there, and yet he's still one shot off the lead.
Yeah, he mustn't let the putting get to him. Sometimes you think, don't look at the leaderboards, but he's got to keep looking at the leaderboard and saying, well, I'm still in there, I've still got to keep going, plugging away.
Woosie's a winner through and through, he's just going to, the only thing that interests him is winning.
Well, Jimenez's third chance in 3 holes, he's spurned the other 2. But same line as Ian Woosnam.
Well, I can't believe he's going to miss 3 on the trot, so I buy the drinks if he misses this one. And you buy them, Steve.
Yeah, I thought that was a catch.
Yeah, correct.
What are you having?
Lovely stroke, firm, straight in the middle. Oh, look. Even reproducing the Nick Faldo trip.
Yeah. So Parnevik, who camera angle a little bit deceptive. You'd have thought that Jimenez was closer. It's about a 4-footer for Parnevik. And we've said it before. We've been saying it in the last couple of holes. It's for the lead. But you really do expect him to make this one. You just listen to the roar if he does.
Left half, firm. Listen for the cheer. Everybody's getting quite excited now.
Jesper Parnevik's got 2 holes to go, 2 pars, and he's the leader at the halfway stage of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters. Great expectations here in Sweden.
Really are tremendous crowds. It's probably one of the best supported tour events of the year so far.
And they think there will be 100,000 in by the end of the week, and certainly if this man is here for the weekend, that will almost guarantee it, because you can come watch Daly in the morning and watch the likes of Parnevik and Woosnam, Lane and Campbell in the afternoon. Great reception for the British Open champion. He's come over to Sweden, he said all the right things, and he's kept the crowds happy.
Yeah, he is. He's very, very good with the crowds. That's the one thing you have to give him credit for. I see him signing autographs for hours after he plays, and he does his own thing, he does it in his own way, but he's very, very popular indeed.
Well, we go back to the business end of the tournament now. Jesper Parnevik at 17. any shape that you should be hitting this drive? Trees on the side, no straight is the obvious one.
Yeah, I'm going to say in my experience the best shot on 17 is straight down the middle if you can. I visited the left trees both days. Perhaps better to be left than right. You can always get a better lie on the left side and hook it round the trees and get somewhere near. Right side's very thick and ugly country.
Well, Parnevik managed a par here yesterday, and a par at 18, a similar finish would surely see him no worse than sharing the lead.
Very focused, very strong and very long. He might just have tipped into the semi there, which is an unfortunate break from a good tee shot.
Well, next will be Miguel Jimenez, after making a birdie at long last.
Lovely rhythm. And once again, there we go, bang centre. I think he's probably now one of the straightest drivers of the ball I've seen.
Now this man, Ian Woosnam, when he's swinging right, it's a swing that you think can copy one of the best swings in the world.
Yes, he looks like he was absolutely sculpted to play the game of golf when he's swinging well, but oh my goodness.
He's the lift up on that one, and away it went to the left, and it got the wrong sort of bounce and deep in trouble.
Yeah, that's I say the left side is the better side to be, but unfortunately not that far left.
He's giving himself a good talking to.
Yes, mumbling to himself, but he'd be disappointed with that. He'd be disappointed with the last few holes actually. He just squandered a couple of chances, and always happens. You squander a few and then you make a silly bogey, and it's an annoying game.
You see the ocean beyond 438 yards. Pretty tight, those trees, 70-80 feet tall. You can get lucky. The rough isn't too punishing on the left-hand side, but I think Ian Woosnam is so deep in there that it's going to be quite an effort to even get out.
Very small green here, as I say. Look how tight that flag is to the trap on the left, and between the trap and that right side of the green, not much room.
Let's see if you see anything wrong with this swing.
I think we'll just see the right shoulder coming over the top from the top of the swing here, and looks okay there. Perhaps a little bit left-sided, but now watch the right shoulder come over the top. There we go. Over the top of the right shoulder. Club face closing down. And it's heading left and going further left. I think it actually hit a tree and went left.
Daly then to ensure that he makes the cut. 2 putts should be good enough, but this would help. Come on.
That's a beautiful putt, wonderful pace. I think he probably felt 2 putts would be good enough, and I think he's probably right.
They all started so well with a birdie, then 3 bogeys to the turn, and a good fighting finish from John Daly. Sandlin also finishes at 1 over. At the moment, that will make the cut. And he's a couple of bogeys out there on the course for someone. Jesper Parnevik's not worried about the cut. He's way in charge. He's leading by 1 from Michael Campbell and Barry Lane, and Parnevik in pretty good shape on 17. Jamie Spence in the clubhouse. Ian Woosnam deep in trouble to the left-hand side of 17. Frank Novelo nicely placed at 5 under. Good round from Adam Hunter and Stuart Cage. Paul Affleck of Wales also going well. Roger Davis out on the course, a chance perhaps to pick up another shot or 2. Tournament leader Jesper Parnevik about to play his second shot to 17. Just missed the fairway, but looks to be lying okay. He's by 1 from Lane and Campbell.
Good long tee shot as well. Doesn't look more than an 8 iron.
Dragged it.
It's okay. It's just short of flag high and slightly down the hill, but no major difficulties there.
Robert Allenby at the 8th.
Another of the great young talents in the world of golf at the moment, Allenby. A beautiful tee shot there and a chance to move to 7 under.
He lost his way a little bit in the middle of the season, missed 4 or 5 cuts in the row, but had a good solid Open Championship, top 20 finish there. And of course the current Australian Open champion. And a man who shared second place 3 years ago here with 5 others. Well, Wilson's gone out of the trees. He's done well to do that.
Obviously couldn't get enough distance to make the green and left himself a pitch of about 50 or so yards. Green breaks left to right here. And looked a bit chunky. Not too bad at all. Pitched it all the way and stopped it.
But another of those length of putts.
And a tricky one too.
It'll be a big test for Ian Woosnam. He's just going to make that one, hasn't he?
Yeah. These are the putts that make or break the round, really. You can come off there and feel he's escaped with a 4 and go to the 18th and make a birdie or something. All of a sudden it's been not too bad a day. If he misses that and pars the last, then, you know, it's been frustrating.
At the other end, at the moment, 65 and ties, cut at +1, but some 15 players at +1. If one of those were to make a birdie, an awful lot could go out. There's only a couple of chances. Peter O'Malley and Mark Nichols they'll be looking at there, right on the line with a few holes to play. The sponsors will be desperately hoping the cut is +1 because John Daly and Jarmo Sandelin both on that mark. I suppose it could play again at the weekend together, which would be entertaining.
So I would hazard a guess that the sponsors will be putting those two together.
And the traffic jams will start early on a Saturday morning coming out of Malmo. A lot of quality sport in Sweden at the moment. Of course, the World Athletics Championship starting this evening, just 150 miles up the road at Gothenburg.
Not in the lane.
Now
Hey,
Parnevik.
you gotta move, man. Keep going. More. You're still on the lane.
Just unhappy with someone stood on his line behind the green.
Quite a fast putt, this one. Coming out of the fringe, sometimes difficult to judge the pace. Obviously you've got to get it through the first 1.5 foot or so of the fringe and then onto the faster surface. And then down the hill and left to right. But he's a confident man, he's leading.
Got a jar.
Well,
I think as a golfing race, the Swedes leave fewer putts short than any other nation.
yeah, it was a lovely putt. He gave us the description of the putt. He thought he'd left it short and then it nearly went in and all adds up to 4.
And at this stage it will do. Let's go across to the other side of the course, to the 8th, and Robert Allenby with a putt which will take him to within 2 shots of Jesper Parnevik.
Perhaps the easiest putt. He could have left himself up the hill. Inside right if he's going to be very firm, probably right edge. We saw Mike Holwood miss a similar putt for par earlier on, but he hit it too firm. Another man blessed with a lovely putting touch.
Very smooth stroke, isn't it?
Perhaps likes the slightly faster greens, these green's a little bit slower than some of the greens on tour.
So just a par for Anneby. Still 3 away from Parnevik. And there's David Carter, who won the tour qualifying school, plays just about week in, week out. I don't think he's taken a week off all year.
That's what you do your first few years on tour, you play every week, and then you realise you can't keep your sanity that way. He'll learn.
You sound a bit tired.
Now, was he? The big test. Tricky putt as well. Just down the right side. Just outside the right edge and quite quick. So he's just going to hit it pace and beautifully.
Oh, well. Oh dear.
Now is not the time to ask for his autograph.
She wanted branded with a putter.
A rueful smile, and that was very unlucky. Horrible to see.
What did you take out? Well, I hit it exactly the way I wanted to, and
he did actually hit a lovely putt there. He picked the line nicely, hit it good pace, and you know, that's just what we call, I guess, a bad break, rubber the green. But
well, he slips to 6 under. Jesper Parnevik walks off with a par. Still the leader by 1 in the second round. Volvo Scandinavian Masters.
Driver wedge to about 15 feet, made a putt for birdie.
That's the scene on one of the leaderboards inside the press centre. Show you a little bit behind the scenes on the Volvo Tour, hole by hole for the journalists from around the world, and you can probably hear the press conference in the background. I suspect they've probably got John Daly in there at the moment after his 71. You can see one player retired there. There you go across. Craig Casales pulled out. Andrew Coulthard 2 over. That's not going to be good enough. Paul Affleck 5 under. Paul Broadhurst 4 under. Ross McFarlane, one of the first round leaders, slipping to 2 under. Not too much play to go. There's an 8 there at the 7th hole. If we go left, we might find out who had that. Maybe he'd be appreciative if we didn't. Didn't quite see it. Initial D. That's it, yeah. Pictures on the TV screens as well. Hive of activity. I think it must be afternoon tea. Well, actually, everybody in the John Daly press conference. And pretty soon they'll be having this man, Jesper Parnevik, in, because he's the tournament leader.
now here's an interesting play. What's this? This looks like the 3-wood. The ball's on the deck. I think definitely driver's too much for him, so he could actually run out of room with this if he hit it properly.
Oh, sit down.
There you go. Sit down, he says. He's hit it left. And he's going to run out of fairway.
He went not too far.
Looks to be lying okay. But the only thing is the trap cut. The trap just in front of the green and the flag cut just over it. Going to be difficult to stop the ball there. Coming out of the rough.
Miguel Jimenez, a par for the Spaniard at 17.
No, he's got the driver out. I just can't see how he can hit driver here unless he hits a big cut. I don't see the value in hitting driver here. It's either a 1-iron or a 3-wood, and you hit it left, you run out of fairway. But we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong and hit a nice big fade. Oh, crikey, he's giving that somehow. He could be going over the top. I think that was probably a little holdy, cutty shot, which is unusual for Miguel.
But there he is again, middle of the fairway.
Yep.
Look at these crowds. Ian Wilson's got to forget what happens when he got a putter in his hand. Is he out with the driver as well?
It's the driver as well. A little bit of temper in this one, I think. Maybe the wind switched. Of course, we're not allowing for the fact that we're sat in the box. It's beautiful. Look at that. Left to right. Around the corner.
That's class. Left himself just a short iron in. David Carter then, his father owns a driving range up in Chesterfield. He's done enough certainly to keep his car for next year. Brought up in South Africa.
Seems to have a good attitude to the game, and another young player with a very bright future.
Still 5 under them, and should be in for the weekend. And going well, here's Roger Davis, familiar +4s, his final hole. A little bit of trouble at the night.
Didn't look a very nice lie, judging by the way it plopped out. Could be a bogey or even worse here, looking at this.
A little bit of a lean time this year. But, just as liable to come out of the pack one week and win with a strong performance. Good leader when he's up there in contention.
Good player, good solid ball striker, and that's all down to his putting really. I think he's had problems on the greens this year, and that's the key to everything. It's the golden key.
He dropped the shot at 8. Looks like he might finish bogey. Here's the aerial view of 18, talking you through it. Mark Rowe.
Yeah, just to see the trees sticking out their right side, it's kind of hard to carry those unless you're daily, so you're aiming just left of those, maybe with a 1-iron or a 3-wood, trying to get into the elbow of the dog leg, leaving yourself about a 7, 8 or even 9-iron, depending on how much of the corner you can bite off. Flag today, tuck left, behind the trap. Not a difficult hole, a hole where you can see a lot of birdies, but tee shot the key, get the tee shot in play and then go from there.
And tournament leader Jesper Parnevik managed that, but only just run out of fairway, but only into the first cut. A super shot from Ian Wilson. A little bit of temper after those missed putts at 16 and 17, and sliding it around the trees. Jimenez hit a similar shot as well, so Parnevik furthest from the hole.
All depends on the lie as to how much club you can get on the ball. Obviously the danger when you're in any of the semi-rough around the course is the grass between the club face and the ball, which causes the spin to be taken off the shot, and what we call a flyer. Hideous feeling as you make contact with the ball and it shoots off much faster than you expect and heads over the green into the gallery. But he's known for the amount of backspin that he imparts on the ball. Lovely crisp attacking action, so man, I have to say I don't think he'd be aiming at the middle of the green. It's not his style.
Do you think he should be aiming at the middle of the green though? Well,
I think a couple of years ago at Turnberry he should have been aiming at the middle of the green, and it cost him the Open Championship, but not too many players win the Open at their first attempt in contention, and as I say, he learnt a great deal and it was a painful experience, but he's a better player now for it and improving all the time. Not of those little sound things, they seem to crop up everywhere, don't they?
You just have to be so careful what you're saying out on the course.
Looked like a 7-iron.
Well, fortune favours the brave.
Yes, there's no backing off for that young man. Another birdie chance. Did I say 7-iron? Yes, it was a 7-iron.
Had a 67 in round 1. And a putt to repeat that score. It's superb golf.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Bit between his teeth and
we go out. We just if that was a 7-iron for Jesper, this is an 8 or a 9-iron.
yeah, it doesn't hit his irons a long way. Jimenez, this is probably the same club. Parnevic's a very powerful striker. It looks like a 7-iron. And he'll just be aiming somewhere on the TV camera there, middle of the green, and just letting the wind and his slight bit of draw turn it over towards the flag. Nicely done, a little bit short. Very tidy golf shot.
Yeah, I Sandlin without the sunglasses. You don't see that much. I don't know what he's signing shirts. Oh, Ian Woosnam. It'd be lovely to see him finish with a 3.
Well, I think he will finish with a 3. There you go, neck on the chopping block. I think he's going to fire this straight at the flag. And lovely action. What a beautiful action that was.
Well, if the putts had dropped, what a round it might have been. Looks increasingly as if the cut will be +1. It's 63rd at the moment. But we're at the top end of the tournament, and just listen to the reception for Jesper Parnevik.
It's a lovely feeling for him to come home. He doesn't spend a great deal of time in Sweden, I'm sure, and to come on one of his few weeks here and play so well.
A lot happening in his life. I saw Jesper at the Oxfordshire when he played in the Anderson Consulting World Championship, lost in his semi-final with Sevi, but there was his wife Mia walking around, and it looked like he's going to become a dad fairly soon.
Really change his perspective on life again. I think he's very much looking forward to that. Lovely lady, his wife.
It'll be Carter out on the 9th. Roger Davis for a 5. And well done, but he still finishes bogey. 3 under after a level par 72, which I will be feeling should have been better.
Brave putt for a bogey, however.
Now at 15, David Carter. As we get towards the end of our second round coverage, just taking a look at 1 or 2 that might feature with late charges onto the leaderboard. Not with putts like that though. So we're coming towards the end. I hope that you've enjoyed our second round coverage. Just to let you know that on Eurosport we're 2 hours Saturday and Sunday. And that's from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Central European time. Jesper Parnevik with a birdie chance at 18. Leads by 1. It could be 2. Michael Campbell and Barry Lane sharing second place. Ian Woosnam missing 2 short putts. Can he finish with a birdie? Miguel Jimenez for a 3 to finish the level par 72 second round.
Struck it beautifully.
Half a roll.
Frustrating. Just steady couple of days golf though, 4 under par. Scoring, making this course look much easier than it actually is. It's a fine golf course and a tough golf course, and that's just again a tribute to the quality of the players here this week.
Our tournament leader, that's Bopanovic, to take a 2-shot lead into the weekend. Still an awful long way to go, but how would you read this one, Mark?
Yeah, I would think just down the right side. Should move off the right edge. A bit longer than it looks, it's probably about 15 feet. But he's hit beautiful putts at the last few holes. And when he gets going, he makes a lot of birdies. There's only one thought in his mind.
To finish. Another 67 for Jesper Bopanovic. He was 4 shots behind Vijay Singh 12 months ago. It's just what the Swedish fans want. The crowds at the weekend are going to be huge. And after all that, Ian Woosnam's got a roll in one for a birdie, which no one would begrudge him it.
Come on, Woozy. Just make the first beer this evening taste a little bit sweeter. It owes him a few, I think. Robbed at 17 with his putt, so right in the middle.
He's missed it left, he's missed it right. There's just no confidence in the strokers, and club golfers will look at that and would probably be putting with more confidence, putting better.
I think he knows he's very disappointed, and I think it's time we had a change maybe with his putting stroke, just a change of putt or a change of grip or something. Yeah. But he's in good spirits, he's smiling, and that's nice to see.
So Jesper Bopanovic leads by 2 at the end of the second round from Michael Campbell and Barry Lane. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage here on Eurosport. My thanks to Mark Rowe for joining me in the commentary box. Starts tomorrow at 1 under. Hope you can make a few birdies tomorrow. Let's just take a look through those scores. Jesper Bopanovic at the top with a couple of 67s. Michael Campbell and Barry Lane just behind. Jamie Spencer, good shape after his 67. Anders Forsbrand reinforcing the Swedish challenge. Ian Woosnam could have been so much better. And don't rule out, of course, Colin Montgomery. Thanks for staying up. Hope you could join us tomorrow. Don't forget, it's 8 o'clock Central European time for 2 hours of the finest golf from the Volvo European Tour. Round 3 of the Volvo Scandinavian Masters. Look forward to your company again on Eurosport. From Mark Rowe and from me, Steve Beddoe, good night.